That's the system that's going to happen in the United States. This is the system, and I want to warn all the people making $100,000, $200,000 a year, $300,000, even $1 million a year who think they're members of the establishment. I want to tell you something. You think the received common knowledge is, yeah, there are too many people, there are too many lazy slobs out there, get rid of them. You are the number one target. You are set to lose your standard of living as well. So you better get that through your brain and understand you need to stop playing make-believe in your own mind that you're part of the establishment. Just because they taught you about eugenics at college and taught you about the people bomb and taught you that all of this was cute and funny doesn't mean that you are exempt. They're putting fluoride and hundreds of other chemicals in your water. They're putting cancer viruses and mercury in your vaccines. They're spraying you with barium salts and aluminum dioxide with a weather modification program that has the side effect, or perhaps it is the main effect. The White House, John Holdren, says, oh, well, it's for weather control to save you from global warming. Then the scientists look at it and say this will actually cause global heating. The evidence shows the government of the world is actually aware that we are set. They're not sure about it because even with their high-tech systems, not their fraudulent computer programs they put out publicly, but with their real research, they know we're set to go into a real cooling trend in the next 100 years. And it appears they are trying to heat the earth right now. So, see, they're never really going to cut carbon dioxide. They're just going to tax you. So I guess that's actually a good thing. It's so amazing. In fact, internal reports by Holder are now out where he said we need to double CO2 to stop an ice age. And that has more science behind it than the quackery of global warming. We'll be right back. Patrick Henningsen, a journalist, television reporter, will be joining us from Copenhagen in the last 30 minutes of this radio broadcast today. Climatologist Tim Ball will be joining us to talk about the global government establishment that is taking place right now. We have Ron Paul scheduled for Friday and a bunch of other huge guests that I'm just going to not announce until tomorrow, Friday, and Sunday and Monday. But we are all over this establishment of world government, obviously. This is everything we've warned of, happening precisely as we said it would happen because we were reading the globalist-owned documents. That is what is so frustrating about this, is that I have mainstream reporter after mainstream reporter for magazines and newspapers come to this office, and I sit there playing for them clips of Al Gore and Von Rompuy and Gordon Brown and countless others calling for world government, the establishment of world government. And most of these reporters, I say to them, did you not just see him call for world government and say that the Copenhagen Treaty is the heart of this system? And they will not talk. They will not respond. They'll just smile at you. And then they write articles, many of them, saying that I'm insane and none of this exists, like Psychology Today. And it's a mind game. It's a joke. They're telling all the yuppies it's not kosher. It's not acceptable to talk about world government. For decades, they created the psychological compulsion, the psychological imprint, the psychological stain, the psychological brand burned into your brain that world government doesn't exist. The Federal Reserve is not private. The banks can do no wrong. Global corporate takeovers don't exist. And then now it's openly happening, and even in major newspapers, while simultaneously, it's like George Monbiot of The Guardian. He'll write articles calling us kooks that we believe in world government. Meanwhile, he writes books titled The New World Order. He signs petitions calling for global governance. It's total disdain for the public. They think you're so stupid and so weak-minded that they say, it's not cool, it's not trendy, it's not stylish to believe in world government. Now, we're establishing world government, but it doesn't exist. I mean, that's mind control. And the public says, world government does not exist. There is no carbon tax. Remember when I had David the Rothschild, heir to the Rothschild fortune on, who's pushing all this agenda with Al Gore and all over television. And I said, there's a carbon tax plan. This was 3 years ago. And he says, no, there's not. There's no tax. And I said, well, here's a clip of Al Gore saying it in Congress. Here's all the public plans for a global tax. And he said, it doesn't exist. Ha, ha, ha. You're a conspiracy theorist. Ha, 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 ha. And I said, well, why are the ice caps on Mars melting? They've since started expanding again, just like our ice caps have. It's a natural cycle predominantly based on the sun, according to most of the top climatologists we talk to. All the climatologists say it's not man-made CO2 doing it, but they can debate, well, the sun's part of it, but also particles from space. When we go through storms of more particles in space, they come through the atmosphere and form nuclei for clouds. And but the point is, it's the sun and particles from space. The Earth just has unknown amounts in the trillions, and they just guess at that with readings of particles. Micrometeors coming into the atmosphere every day. But that's another issue. I'm going to your calls here. The point I'm trying to make is that world government is here. And it's a nasty world government. And it's openly calling for a global tax on every nation of 2% off the top of GDP, taxes on all fuel, all transportation on top of that, just 700 plus new bureaucracies in the treaty, all run by the private IMF and World Bank. This is staggering. It is just earth-shaking to see them actually announce in The Guardian and to post the secret treaty where private banks are secretly setting this up and ordering the third world, who are completely in debt to these people through fraud, that they must sign on to it. National Security Council, through FEMA and Homeland Security, has set up an official dictatorship. Obama is now acting as an official dictator. This is Fox News. It's also in Reuters. Administration warns of command and control regulation over emissions. The Obama administration is warning Congress that if it doesn't move to regulate greenhouse gases, the Environmental Protection Agency, this is a quote, will take a, quote, command and control role over the process in a way that could hurt businesses. The Obama administration is warning Congress that if it doesn't move to regulate greenhouse gases, the Environmental Protection Agency will take a command and control role over the process in a way that could hurt business. Yeah, why didn't Congress stand up against the out-of-control executive? Why won't the third world do that, hearing they're going to have their energy cut by half because they're bought and paid for? The warning from top White House economic official who spoke Tuesday on condition of anonymity came on the eve of the EPA administration's Lisa Jackson's address to the International Conference on Climate Change in Copenhagen, Denmark. Jackson, however, tried to strike a tone of cooperation in her address Wednesday, explaining that the EPA's new powers under the treaty, they haven't even signed yet, to regulate greenhouse gases will be used to complement legislation pending in Congress, not replace it. It's kind of like they haven't passed the health care government takeover bill yet, but they're already instructing state agencies to prepare for withholding from everyone's check. This is not an either-or moment. It's a both-and moment, she said. But while administration officials have long said they prefer Congress to take action on climate change, the economic official who spoke on reporters Tuesday night made clear that the EPA would not wait and is prepared to act on its own, and, quote, it won't be pretty. If you don't pass legislation, the EPA is going to have to regulate in this area, the official said. And it's not going to be able to regulate on a market-based way, so it's going to have to regulate in a command and control way, which will probably generate even more uncertainty. Yeah, they're telling the bigger corporations that aren't perfectly in line and smaller energy companies that are lobbying against it, look, we're just going to do this and not let you make money on derivatives. Look, ExxonMobil, Dutch Roll Shell, BP, Amoco, all these other big outfits, they're behind this. You better get in line. There's plenty of money that we're going to rob from the public for you if you join in.